talk about the top boys event, which I think is this 200 meters. You're going to have Osama Singa, Zaire Nurdin, Cage Baker, Javian Green, Makai Danzy, and we have 5 boys that are under 2150 in this event going to be lining up at FSU Relays. So, Ashley, what should we be looking out for, and what are some of the key takeaways we can probably take away just going into this meet?
I think the question is going to be, like, how fast will Montverde go? Like, realistically, are they going to be trying to put down something really, really quick? But can anyone challenge too as well? And I think the answer is yes, some people can challenge in this race. You know, obviously Asinga and Nurdin kind of come in as the obvious favorites for, you know, some obvious reasons. But I wouldn't sleep on Kaj Baker. He's gone 21-18 earlier this season at the LS Elite 16, and it was into a pretty strong headwind as well. And I'm just really impressed with what he can do. And I think, you know, on a good day, he could definitely be up there with those guys. Just last weekend, he ran a 10:56 100-meter PR at Bob Hayes. So he should be feeling pretty confident and fit. And I also think if you look at this field, Javian Green will be a factor. He had a really solid indoor season. He ran 21:34 indoors for the 200. So, I mean, all in all, again, it's going to come down to how fast will Asinga and Nurdin want to realistically go in this outdoor opener after a really long indoor season, and who else is going to be up there with them challenging.
Kaj Baker is definitely, I feel like, that individual to not sleep on. I know you just mentioned that. He's also a freshman on top of that, which is really scary to think about. 21-18 into a negative 1.1 wind the first week of March. Like, I think that's really exciting to know, like, hey, this is where he is right now as a freshman. And you know, he's going to be having that competition with Osama Singa and, as you mentioned, Zaire Nurdin. Javian Green also ran a 21:34 this indoor season. Danzy went 21:41 last spring at regionals, and this season already went 21:67. And that's just crazy. I think we can actually see a handful of maybe sub 21 seconds in this 200 meters at this meet. So, yeah, I wouldn't sleep on Kaj Baker either. Cory, what are your thoughts on just this lineup here?
Montverde's headed to the Texas Relays in March. Is that right? Correct?
I believe so. And I also, isn't it the same weekend as Florida Relays too? So I don't know.
I think it's coming up.
That might get a little tricky.
But yeah, when I look at the outdoor season for Montverde as a whole, I think it's going to be long for these guys, right? They want to be operating in June, July, and August when some of these world level U20 championships are available to them. So, you know, they will run fast. I agree with you 100%. Now, will he go what he did at New Balance Nationals Indoor? Is he going for record level stuff? Probably not. I think he's going to break 21. He'll win the race, Assam, that is. But I think this is like build-up phase for Montverde. Tear it down a little bit during indoor, build it back up. And you want to be better overall when it comes to June, July, and August. So I think that's something to watch out for. For me, the undercards are Danzy, who you both have mentioned already. He's a candidate for me that might be able to go under 21.5. I think last year at state championships he was 21.4 behind Micah Larry, Baker, and another athlete by the name of Brown. He was third at the AU Junior Olympics in 21.9. So he's got talent. I think here is a critical junior season for him. He can get better here. Donovan Terry's another guy, 21.45 at his home meet March 8th from Tampa Jesuit. He didn't break 22 at all last year. He ended up doing it right from the get-go in 2023. So I think Terry has a good opportunity here at FSU Relays to really make a mark for himself.
Mm-hmm. Now, as we talk about the girls event, this is something I think is going to be really interesting to see. I feel like the top girls event going into this weekend for the FSU Relays is this 800. Talked about Michelle Smith, who just opened up in the 400-meter hurdles just last weekend. She's going to be in this race. Kamaya Haywood, who's one of the top returners from the indoor season, will also be in this race. And then you have Trinity Holland as well is going to be in this race. So, Ashley, how excited are you for this 800-meter field, and how do you see this unfolding?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this because I think it's going to be a really close competition. You know, I'm really curious to see what Michelle Smith is going to do, especially if you look at what she just did this past weekend. She ran the 400 hurdles. I mean, she broke 60 seconds both times, but now she's going to transition back to this 800. And the question is, how fast is she going to go? Because we haven't seen her do this in a little bit. You know, she was one of the top performances in the 600 during indoor. And so the question, I guess, is going to be, tack on an extra 200 there, how, can she hold on? Like, how will that translate basically? And I think that's going to be exciting to watch. But I think, Kamaya Haywood, I mean, it's going to be a battle between these two. Haywood she's also a stud. She's like a 209, 210, 800 girl. Very, very consistent as a middle distance athlete. And I'd imagine, it'll be a battle between these two, especially coming down the stretch, but probably whoever has the best, final turn, the final, 150, 200 meters, they're going to be the one that comes out on top. But really excited to see these two athletes.
Yeah, I think this is a really exciting race just because we have three girls who have essentially went 210 and 212 within the last year. Ashley, you mentioned it's been a while since Michelle Smith has been around the track twice. The last time she did that was at the Florida Outdoor State Championship, so nearly almost a year ago. That was the last time she ran an open 800. She has a personal best of 210. She's the defending FSU Relay champion where she ran a 212 last year. So this girl definitely has the wheels to do it. And I agree with you. Kamaya Haywood ranked U.S. number 11 this indoor season with a 209. And already this spring, she's ran a 210. So she's definitely going to probably be that person to really push Michelle Smith and the rest of this field too. But I also would not count out Trinity Holland, who ran a 212 last spring to set new personal bests. And she's been consistently, she went from 221 to 212 in just a span of a month, literally this outdoor season. So it's going to be exciting to see. I think these three girls really push the pace a little bit. Cory, how do you see this race just kind of unfolding in this 800?
Well, the familiar faces are all back from last year. Haywood was in this race last year, Blackledge, and Nolaton. I think Nolaton actually made a pretty good run toward the second half of the race last year. Michelle will be, I think, the favorite, as we all talked about. And if we look at a comparison, right, model for her, because she hasn't run the 800, what would it be? Look to Layla Haynes of IMG Academy, has already run 209 for the 800. She's in the U.S. top 3. She was a little slower than Smith in the 600, Ashley, as you mentioned. So if you're looking at the model, how will she produce? I think Haynes is probably a good example there. I think Smith will target that 210 or even go faster because she does have that speed. But it is early in the season, as I said, to put back-to-back 65s together isn't an easy thing to do. But a girl like that with a ton of talent, World U20 experience, I think she can get it done and might end up running at the U.S. top 3 time, but by when things are all said and done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a definitely very loaded 800-meter field, so that's going to be exciting to watch. Now, as we just kind of shift a little bit of focus, I know we talked about Osama Singa, but his teammate as well, Adasia Hodge, is also registered to run the 200 meters as well. So we have the stars that are going to be returning, the national champions, national record holders. They're competing in FSU Relays. So my question to the both of you is, what are we thinking that we can see this weekend? I know, Cory, you just briefly talked about how they're probably going to, they probably took some time off, reloaded, gained some strength, and the goal is not FSU Relays, right? Like, we're looking toward later in the season. But as we're opening up this outdoor season, what can we expect from them? Ashley, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, like we already mentioned before when you were talking about the boys 200, I think it's really just going to be, like, yeah, they'll run something fast, but, I mean, realistically, they're not going to be looking to break any records at FSU Relays, if we're being really realistic about it. Like, it's probably going to be, they're just going to kind of coast. I think they're going to cruise, but I mean, let's be real. Like, if we're talking about cruising for them, that's something that's already like super elite, you know what I mean? And so I think this will probably be a good like benchmark for them almost, set themselves up, be like, all right, this is where we're at. Cut fresh off an indoor, let's shift to outdoor, just get one underneath our belts and then keep going for the remainder of the season. That's kind of how I see it playing out.
Yeah. And I think I also looked at the weather beforehand. I was like, what is the temperature going to be like? And it looks like there's going to be some great weather. And I'm just like, okay, great weather. They're pretty sharp right now. And again, like Cory mentioned, they're probably rebuilding. And again, the goal is later in the season. So the fact that you said they're probably going to cruise this and it's still probably going to be an elite time. Do you see Adasia going sub 23 right now? Like right off the bat at FSU Relays?
I mean, maybe or right on 23. Maybe like 23,
okay.
1. I don't know. It really just, it'll depend. It'll depend if she's like rearing to go and go after something fast or if she's, content with just kind of going for the win.
Mm-hmm. All right, Cory, what are your thoughts? I know we talked about Assam. What are your thoughts on Adasia in this 200?
So I want to tell you a brief story. At New Balance, I was talking to a colleague, Steve Mazzone of Bay Shore Running. Steve's a great guy. He does a lot of good stuff in that area, writing about track and field. He told me a story about Devin Kipiego. He's been covering him all his entire career, and he's wrote, glowingly about Devin. But there have been moments where he's simply asked the question, can Devin do it all? Can he win all 4 events? Can he do X, Y, Z? And, Steve's a logical guy. Sometimes he comes to the conclusion, well, maybe he can win 3, but not 1. He told me at New Balance that, like, Devin has that killer spirit where it's like if he sees anyone doubting him, even if it's just this offhanded thing, he's going to go after it. And in those moments, Steve said that Devin eventually did win those 4 titles, and he always would do the thing that Steve predicted against. So I just want to I agree with you, Ashley. I don't think there's going to be any records broken, but I wonder if there's any sort of that like motivational factor, like any doubt they can hear, they can put it in their head, say, hey, this person said we won't do it. I think athletes need to have that to excel, and it's something that like pushes, certain people forward. So I'm also going to say no on record. But that being said, I would not be surprised if Assam goes 20.5, say, or Adeja goes 22.8. I also will predict 23-1 from Adeja and, just under 21 for Assam. But, like, if something crazy happens, I will not be surprised.
Okay. I love that talk, Cory. It's great. So I'm excited to see what they both do. If I had to put it in perspective of like where I think they would be right now, like I could see Adeja going, I think sub 23. I'd say like 22, 5 or 6. I see Assam going.
Wow.
20. What? 22.5?
You said that like it was like
22.
22.5.
22.5.
Guys,
Casually.
the way she ran that 22.7 indoors and the fact that I saw her go 22.3 was just like insane. I feel like at this like 22.6. 22.7.
That wasn't much of a difference there.
Assam, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this kid. I feel like every time he lines up, and I had a chance, like at New Balance, he said every time you have a chance to compete, you treat it like it's your last. And I just don't know what to expect from Assam right now. So I'm not going to be surprised either way of what times they run because they're just incredible athletes. So I know we dove into...
Hold on. Bringing up the national high school records, just saying 22.5 would be 6 all time. Brianna Williams, who won a world title, ran 22.5. Tamari Davis won the state championship. Kaylin Whitney, Lauren Rand Williams, Candace Hill, Allison Felix. Those are the heavyweight stars of the history. So and Abby Steiner was just right there to 22.7. So Adeja, big thoughts from Olivia. I love it.
Yes, I love it, dude. She went 22.3 indoors.
I know.
Like
I know.
Insane. So at this point, there's no limit.
Let's just say she breaks. Let's just say she goes 22. Honestly, 22.1. I'm going for it. 22.1.
Sub 22.
Candace Hill,
22.
your record's going down.
My goodness. Do you mean right now, or do you mean like later down the line, Cory?
No,
do you mean
right
22.1?
Yeah, we're being facetious, but maybe. Hey, I agree. 22.3 by the time the year's end. By the time a year ends, 22.1 does that go down this year? I think we all could agree that that might go down this year.
Okay.
We're on another topic now.
I know.
We're on another topic now. She's like racking her brain.
My brain is going crazy right now. 22.3 in March. And I'm thinking April, May, June, 3 months from now, weather permitting. I'm not even saying all conditions. I'm saying when legal right now. Like, I don't even want to throw this out there right now. It's making me nervous. My hands are sweating thinking about it. Never mind. Yeah, 22.1. Let's just go there. 22.1. I can see it.
It's a big year.
I can see it happening.
There's plenty of time, too.
World Junior. There's Pan American World Junior games.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, I think she can make a big team and go after it for sure.
Awesome. All right, y'all. We talked about the 8s, the 800s. We talked about the 200s. There's a lot of athletes competing this weekend. So I want you to pick one athlete that you're looking forward to watching this weekend at the FSU Relays. So this is our pick. Cory, let's start with you. Who is your pick of someone or a team that you feel like really do something remarkable this weekend in Florida?
I'm glad you said that. I said team. Montford Academy. It's going to be the Montford Academy show in 2023, but they didn't really get the opportunity in the 4x4 at New Balance to really put forth the complete effort. They got a member fell during the third leg. They weren't able to finish, but they were kind of on pace to go right around 3:13, 3:14. So I think seeing them in a relay, whether it's the 4x4 or the 4x1, I am most interested in that, because I think, track is about individualism, but when you do have a team like that and you can have a relay that's prolific, it's squared. It's like that moment squared. So I'm curious how they do in one of those relays if they end up doing that at FSU.
Awesome. I like that. Ashley, how about for you?
Well, I was looking through the entries, and in the boys 800, we're going to have Alex Leith of Vestavia Hills out in Alabama. He's going to be entered in this race, coming off a monster indoor season. He finished second at New Balance Nationals, where he went 1:48, second place. I mean, that's like one of the top all-time 800-meter performances in indoor history. And he'll be making his outdoor debut at the distance. And I'm kind of like what we were talking about with, Osama Singa and Adeja Hodge, like, will this be just kind of a casual tune-up? Is he going to go for something big off of that indoor? Did he take a little break and is now just kind of trying to get the gears going again? I don't know, but either way, I'll be curious to see what he does and, see how that plays out for him.
Awesome. I think for me, I'm sticking with the distance events as well. I'm excited to see what Patrick Kuhn does. He'll be in the 3,200 meters this weekend. He's coming off of a very strong cross-country season. He won the state title in cross country, and he's also dipped under 9 minutes in this event this spring already with an 8:53. 88 at the Bulldog Classic just literally a few weeks ago. That's a new personal best for him. So the fact that you're kicking off your season with personal best, it only gets better from there. That also is Florida and U.S. #1 as well. So lots of great things that are occurring this weekend. So make sure you stay tuned to MileSplit to get everything from the interviews to race